Hi there, and welcome back to another review overview with MSI's latest full-on gaming laptop, the Pulse GL66. The Pulse marks the second generation of a new series MSI started last year. While it's supposed to be a mid-range gamer to the core, MSI made some questionable hardware choices that put it in a very tough spot in a very crowded market. Our 15-inch review unit is equipped with Intel's latest high-end i9-12900H, an RTX 3060, 16GB of DDR4 RAM and a 512GB SSD. You can see everything you're doing on the Pulse on a 1080p 144Hz display. In our testing, we compared it with similar Alder Lake and RTX 3060 equipped laptops, like the Alienware X14 and the Asus TUF Gaming F15. As additional comparison devices, we use Schenker's XMG Apex 15, the Lenovo Legion S7 and the Alienware M15 R5. Being a mid-range gamer, the GL66 is mostly made from high-quality plastics. Only the display lid is made from metal, which results in a very sturdy construction, but tends to be a little top-heavy if you open the display too far. The overall design language is definitely targeted towards gamers, but without being over the top. But of course, that is up to personal taste. When it comes to size and weight, the Pulse sits right in there with the competition. And by the way, you can easily compare size and weight of different laptops on our website with our comparison tool. It is a bit on the heavier side of the pack, but the overall dimensions are quite standard in this category. The port situation of the GL66 left us wanting a bit more and also presented some problems with our review unit. While you get kinda everything you need, the specification and the placement of some connections are quite questionable. While the Pulse is outfitted with 3 USB-A ports, one of them is only USB 2, which is a bit of a downer in 2022. The only USB-C port on the other hand is also of the slower USB 3.2 Gen 1 variety and also had some major connection issues in our unit. MSI also decided to move the majority of the ports to the right side of the chassis, which always bears the potential problem of getting in the way of your mouse movement. Especially if you have to deal with thicker display and network cables. The Pulse GL66 uses an AX201 Wi-Fi module from Intel. Unfortunately, it isn't able to utilize its potential and shows miserable scores in our testing. In regards to input devices, the Pulse is again offering solid performance, with the keyboard offering tactile feedback that lets you type and game easily and quickly. The font again is very gamery, but the overall layout works very well, despite the num keys and the F keys being on the smaller side. The trackpad is also very average. While it is on the smaller side, it sports a smooth surface that tracks accurately and reliably. The display is our first major gripe with the GL66. While brightness distribution and contrast are fine, a maximum brightness of just 250 nits and barely 60% coverage of sRGB are simply not acceptable in this day and age, especially considering the type of panels used in competing devices. If you want to directly compare all the different display specifications, please make sure to go to our written review and use our plugin. At least when it comes to factory calibration, MSI is able to redeem some points in the display department, offering very low delta E deviations that can only be marginally improved with manual calibration. Being equipped with an RTX 3060 and an exceptionally powerful i9-12900H, the GL66 should be running circles around the Ryzen 5000 or i7 equipped competition. Unfortunately though, the i9 just isn't able to show what it is truly capable of, barely beating or sometimes not even matching the i7-12700H found in the Asus TUF F15. It can easily beat the Ryzen equipped models, but it left us wondering if a low tier CPU would have been a better fit for the new Pulse, both in terms of performance and price. That said, the i9 offers amazing performance for both gamers and content creators and shows just how good Intel's chips are in 2022. While an RTX 3060 can run on up to 140 watts, it is only able to utilize 105 watts in the GL66, resulting once again in very average scores. Some benchmarks even shows us some very weird behavior when it comes to core clocks, resulting in very low scores compared to other 3060 equipped laptops. In real-world gaming scenarios, the GL66 is able to deliver smooth frame rates on high details and in 1080p. For example, you get around 140 FPS in our standard Witcher 3 test, around 112 FPS in Far Cry 5, and around 40 frames in Cyberpunk 2077. That is without ray tracing, of course. Fan noise is again on similar levels as the competition, if maybe a bit on the higher side. We would recommend using balance mode in idle or light work scenarios, since it keeps the fans from turning on every now and then annoyingly, like they would in extreme mode. During our stress test, the chassis never got too warm or showed any particular hotspots. In the 1 hour test, the CPU leveled out at around 80 degrees with stable clock speeds at 2.3 GHz. While this is far from the chip's maximum turbo clock of 5 GHz, this is an extreme scenario you will rarely encounter in everyday use. The GPU leveled out at 80 degrees as well, with mostly stable clock speeds. With the GL66 you should never venture too far from a wall outlet. The small 53 Wh battery is only good for around 4.5 hours in our Wi-Fi web surfing test, and is easily beaten by the competition with much beefier batteries. Alright guys, this is it for the Pulse GL66 from MSI. It is in a very tough spot to get a solid recommendation from us in 2022. While the laptop as a whole is alright, there are just too many shortcomings that add up quickly. While the potential of having an i9 in a mid-range gaming laptop sounds very promising, it just isn't able to deliver in the GL66, and most likely result in a rather high price tag that is hardly justifiable for the build quality and the compromises that had to be made. If you are shopping in this category, you should definitely have a look at the TUF F15 from ASUS. It is quite a bit cheaper and was able to match or even outperform the GL66 in almost every way. That would be it for today guys. As always, please head over to our website to check out the written review for the GL66 for all the detailed test results. If you think this review was helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Alex and I see you all in the next one. Take care.